what?
Coffee.
So you've got myself, Paul Apostolakis. You've got
early.
Salvatore Kuzmano. You've got Tony Raffin, and a special guest today also, Mr. Brad Weisgerber, the Youper himself. How are you,
He is
sir?
not a human.
No, he's inhuman.
He's superhuman.
I am human.
Yeah.
Some call me a caveman, but I'm doing
Yeah.
well this morning.
Superhuman.
He came in barefoot just in case you
Not
guys are
barefoot.
understanding
Yeah,
where the
okay.
kid
Not
is.
barefoot.
All right. Let's
Hi,
move on.
Jacob. Hi,
Are
AJ.
you shouting people out? We're doing a show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, so obviously, let's address the elephant in the room.
Why do you got to look at elephant and I gained weight?
So let's address the elephant in the room. Sal and I and a few other and Brad, we have changed our venues. I'm very proud to say that we've started our own company.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a very difficult decision. It wasn't easy. Love what we had going on at the last place we were at, but the reality is we had an opportunity to do something for ourselves, and we're doing it. And this is our first podcast under the new ownership of Omega Lending. So I'm proud to say that we are the owners of Omega Lending, and this is it.
Did the Greek name have anything to do with the Greek background?
Dude, it wasn't even my call, man.
The
it was
Italian guy said that.
It was a suggestion.
It was. I suggested it. Sal seconded it, and everybody kind of went along with it,
It's easy.
right? So, so Tony, how you doing, man? Tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, obviously we had you on the old show, but now we're inside real estate now. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the business, man.
God, that's a tough one, man.
You got to talk into the mic, man.
I thought I was talking
No.
in the mic. I'm not loud enough.
No, there you go.
You know what? Real estate. It was. I was selling cell phones when they first came out. It was crazy.
Bag phones, right?
Bag phones. Well, they were. I was before bag phones. They were car phones at the time.
Wow.
So we got rid of that. Hold this for me.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't hold my own.
I mean,
So,
Jesus.
once I got rid of the cell phone gig, I got into construction. And it's like, this is no fun, and I'm really a salesman. So I watched my friends that were all rich and lived on the lake, and I said, I want to live on the lake.
Yeah.
So I bought a house on the lake, and then I became a salesperson. So I started in 1990. I got my license in 1990.
Salvatore was 4 years old, I think.
3.
Legit.
No,
No,
serious?
2. 1990.
Wow. I've been
Yeah,
doing this
2.
way too freaking long.
Sal and I are the
and,
same age.
So I
Yeah,
started
that's
out,
crazy.
and I did it part time while I was running my tire store, and then and then I owned a bunch of chain of tobacco stores. And I'm like, I really like doing this way better, and I started doing really good instead of being a cashier at my own party store owner, basically. You know,
yeah.
so I got out and I did that, and it worked out really, really well. And then I started working at Remax in 2000, March of 2000. And in 2007, I bought the company.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2013, I merged with Remax First. Yo! And all right, that was a shout out to Remax
Just
First.
have an epileptic seizure. What was that? Jeez.
And we merged, and now we've got 6 offices: Royal Oak, Chesterfield, Warren, Shelby Township, Clinton Township, St. Clair Shores. 6 offices.
Wow,
God,
man.
I got to count every once in a while. Yeah, we did really well. And we got a great bunch of people. Got about 150 agents in our 6 offices. And I can truly say this about Remax over probably everybody else. We've got true professionals. We go deep.
Yeah.
We're not just 500 people in one office and 10 people do the work. We've got 150 agents that are badass agents, and they're out there watching us right now, and you guys rock out of the park. I appreciate being with a great team like you guys.
That's awesome, man. I mean, you've had success, and Sal, we see a lot of agents that are just getting into the business. Obviously, you've gone through the ups and downs. You went through the meltdown, as we call it, right?
Yes.
What has given you the ability to be successful in a really competitive industry? I mean, everybody wants to be an agent, right? Not all of them. I mean, they say, what is the stat? Like the top 10% do like 90% of the work or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Right. So, like, what caused you to have the ability to have success in a really competitive market, right? I mean,
Changed to what we had to do. When the economy started getting bad, I remember one of my secretaries saying, "You got to stay retail," and I'm like, "No, we need to go into wholesale. We need to unload this stuff, and we know the inventory's coming up, the values are dropping, and we've got to get into the REO sector." Henceforth, the dip that started. Everybody thinks it started in 2009. But they forgot the 9 years leading up to that. And we started, I remember I did my first REOs in 2000, and I had 3 of them. And I watched them all year long. One of them was redeemed, and the other 2 I sold. So you started out with 3 REOs back in 2000, and by 2009, I sold 800 homes in 1 year. People are like, that's phenomenal. It's like, it's building the system and integrating everything that works with it. It's still the same way, basically, what we do today. Knowing that there's still some REO out there, and we do a little bit, but we had to change to go back to retail.
Well, you got to be nimble, right? I think that's what you're saying.
You got to be a chameleon.
Yeah.
Today it's green. We get in the green room. Tomorrow it's black. The next day it's gray.
So something.
Real estate's a lot like Michigan weather.
Yeah, we've had 4 seasons this year or this weekend. We've had 4 seasons.
Right.
We went from 14 degrees to 73 degrees to sunshine to rain to snow to sleet.
Can we just talk about that for 1 second? I mean, off topic. Like we've had 6 months of winter, dude. 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months.
I think
Broken, though.
Today feels par for the course.
Crazy.
Though, right? It's April. It's
today's a rainy season. It's a nice day. It's a little
yeah.
cloudy, like Seattle or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, Sal, one thing that we always talk about is like what got us here won't get us there, right? So like we have to be able to say, yeah, this worked for a little while, and then we have to adapt to changing circumstances. Otherwise, you will like wither away. You could be the number 1 loan officer, agent, whatever it is, whatever profession you are, football player, basketball. If you're not willing to adapt to change very quickly, if you're just stuck in your ways, you will not survive, in my opinion.
Right. Well, I think you always have to concentrate on the blocking and tackling, right? Like the fundamentals of our business, but you have to change your plays.
Well, when people think that you're looking for the smoother path, the blocks, the tackles, the hurdles, those are the path. Plain and simple. You got to jump over things. You got to go around things. You got to go through the hurdles. You got to be resilient. That's the path. It's just like I said, what did I open this morning up with? I know where I came from, but I'm gone from there because I know where I need to go.
Right. Like that's where I came from, but I'm gone.
I'm gone.
Yeah, that's kind of
Deja vu.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did, right? Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, in our market right now, the big story is we could talk about a lot of different things, but the biggest story right now is the lack of inventory, right? It's tough to find a house right now. And here's what I get annoyed with, and we could talk about this, but real estate agents kind of like, I see all these posts on Facebook like, oh, I sold this house in 3 days. I'm like, congrats, dude. It's not that big of a deal right now. Did you get your buyer the house, right? That's the hard part.
Yes.
Winning and like against 15 other offers, a good agent is getting those deals done where, it's not that hard to sell a house right now. So I don't care. Don't prop yourself out for doing the easy stuff, man. Tell me about the buyer that you took to 15 houses, beat out 15 other offers, and you got the deal done for them.
We just lost one Sunday night. We had
you talked to me about
oh my God, I wanted to kill this guy. I'm thinking to myself, this unethical. We make an offer, we're full price, 20% down, conventional, nice, clean, simple deal. No crap. And there was 4 offers on the table, and we're talking a $300,000 house, so it's not something that I would say is a basic necessity, but it was a downsize from Grosse Pointe. So he says, yeah, your deal's perfect. You got it. We'll give you the deal. I'll get you all the documents in the morning. Needless to say, agents, pay close attention. He didn't get me the deal. At 11:30 that night, he got an offer that said, we'll give you $2,000 more than your highest offer.
Escalation clause.
That is bullshit.
So for those of you that don't know,
Yeah.
so a little known tool in your arsenal as an agent is you can put in an offer at whatever and say, and put in what's called an escalation clause, which we see a lot now, not a lot of people use, saying, I'll give you $2,000 over the highest price.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's like...
It's almost like a right of first refusal or something.
Almost, yeah,
kind
right.
of, yeah. I mean, I remember bidding on eBay for things like that, right? Like your bid would be $1 or 50 cents higher than
Set a max.
But technically,
and you set a
when
maximum, the
we
most
do
you're
it,
willing to pay.
when we do it as a real estate agents, when you give somebody an offer, that's an offer. That's a firm offer.
Right.
To throw that escalation clause in it, as you call it, and I will give kudos to Al Block at Remax First, who is also the president of GMAR. I think it's GMAR. Yeah, it's GMAR. Please, Al, forgive me if I'm wrong. But knowing that you've got this escalation clause in it, which is actually, I would say, almost unethical. It really is. It's almost unethical. It's a hell of a tactic.
Yeah, but you got to be scrappy, dude. I can't knock it.
No, and I'm not,
know what I
and I'm
mean?
not knocking it.
Right.
I get it.
Well, I get what you're saying.
how does that
hey,
work?
If you're willing to pay $305, why don't you just make your offer $305?
Right.
Exactly. So
Right.
what I told the
Why
guy
play the
is,
game?
why don't we? I'm going to make my offer, $20,000 over asking, and let him go $2,000 over that, just to
Right.
mess with this guy, fuck him up or something like that. Well, excuse my French, dude. I'm
We are
getting
explicit,
pissed.
right?
We close a lot of deals. We close a lot of freaking deals.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how do you compete with a guy like this that's playing games?
Can I
Is
ask-
it all it is? A game.
Can I ask you guys a question, Sal? What happens when there's double escalation clauses? What do you do?
Well, who's got the highest one, right?
Right.
Because I would say that you would pit the two against each other. Hey,
Well, you can't
his
really do
escal-
that because one will escalate.
They'll just keep
They'll
escalating,
keep going.
dude,
It's
in
a loop.
perpetuity.
But
Well,
if
absolutely.
one is 305 and the other one's escalation clause is up to 310, right? The
No,
guy-
he said $2,000 higher than
Than the
any
hi-
other offer
Any.
that comes
Right.
in.
There was no
Any.
max.
And no appraisal contingency. Now figure this out. And the guy's an underwriter at Quicken Loans. So I figured let's go way over asking and stick the guy up as yin yang. And now we go back to reality. So who are we helping? Are we helping my client, the buyer, or his client, the seller? So we got to remember where our fiduciary responsibility stands.
So does that get disclosed to you then? When you put an offer in, the other agent will tell you, hey, thanks for the offer. I have an escalation clause, a pending escalation clause offer right now. So you know that going into it, so you can just keep jacking the price up. To
No,
make
I
the
didn't know
overpay?
it going into it. He ended up using my offer.
Yeah, of course.
So
Right.
with knowing that he used my offer, it was almost privacy. What do you say? A privacy
Invasion of privacy?
Yeah. So one of the things I think you guys might want to do, and everybody out there, make sure your offer is not seen by anybody, and put it in the contract. My offer shall not be used. It shall not be shown to anybody but the buyer, the seller, and the agents involved or the brokers involved.
Right.
Because otherwise, we end up getting screwed, and then they use our offer against us.
Right. And with that escalation clause,
That's
right?
nuts,
If I wrote an escalation clause, I would want to see the signed offer of the other
Absolutely.
buyer.
And that's the whole idea. The guy
So if
wanted
they
to see
can't,
the
right?
offer. So knowing he couldn't see knowing he could see my offer, we got screwed, and he brought it over asking because we were the only ones at asking price, and this guy was $2,000 higher.
This is just so indicative of our market. Like, it is cutthroat. I mean, we're talking like agents going at it, and this is a prime example. Like, this is where, and I did a thing on this. This is where an agent actually shows their worth. Like, you need a good agent in this market because a good agent knows how to navigate all this stuff.
Right.
And even if you're a good agent, you're getting like sideswiped with stuff that you've never really dealt with before because it's all cutthroat right now.
And I think the appraisal waiver is kind of a double-edged sword. So in one sense, right, if they waive the appraisal and that value does go higher, it does help the comps in the neighborhood, right? Because it actually sold for above and beyond
Right.
what that appraisal value came at.
He's helping
which
everyone else out.
Kind of plays into the market, right? People are looking to bid higher and are willing to pay higher than what that appraisal may come in at. So then you have a solid comp that may be sold at 305, right?
So it changes the whole market.
But on the other side of that, right? I mean,
Well, the other side
people
of it
are
is the
still
new-
overpaying what, and it's tough because an appraisal goes on the past, right? It doesn't go on the future.
So where do you guys see the market coming right now?
As far
right
as
now,
what?
well, right now we are at record highs. Not for everything, not for our high end market, but our
Values,
Our,
you mean?
our value, our mid range, our value,
It's going to keep going up.
Well, here's funny. Let's take a typical 3-bedroom ranch, and I'll use Macomb County. Let's say Warren or St. Clair Shores. Before, like the record high for a 1,000-square-foot ranch was 150, maybe 160.
220.
Dude, we're getting 175, 180. When's it going to stop?
It's not.
It's
you know
not.
why it's not going to stop? Demand isn't slowing down.
Right.
That's the problem.
There's no inventory.
There's a shortage of supply.
Yes.
There's like 5
We
ranches.
just listed 900 houses in Macomb County this month.
Wow.
900. But does that mean
No, that's nothing.
We know what's selling, the ones that are done and ready to go, because this is all going back to the old I don't know, you guys are too young to remember this, but the old Point Dodge days where you got Chuck Riley was out there. He was the sales manager who now owns Parkway Chrysler Plymouth, and he would come out there and say $99 down, $99 a month. People are looking for a payment. They don't want to do any work. They want the house done. And
Yeah.
if the house is done, the
For
house
sure.
is
It's
clean,
gone.
it's gone. And they don't care as long as they can afford the payment.
right?
Yeah, but here's my point: is we have like what, a 2-month supply right now in the market, max,
About that.
right?
Yeah.
So there's just more buyers than there is, and then we're only getting more and more buyers because people are having babies. The millennials are buying houses. And then people are down. Like, what the biggest market that's having a problem right now are the baby boomers that are downsizing. They can't find. So
This was a downsized unit that I was doing too for a baby boomer.
So you've got millennials and baby boomers fighting for the same houses.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's a crazy market. That's not changing.
So let's go 2 more questions deeper in that.
Let's go
What's
deep.
What's
I like
happening
it.
with interest rates?
They're going up.
Interest rates are 30 years about 4 3/4 right now.
Correct.
4.59.
Depends. Yeah.
Right, but
4.5,
roughly
4.75.
4 to 5, 4.75. Okay, even a 15-year fixed. A 15-year fixed is like a 3.95%.
Call it 4,
so
yeah.
4%.
Call it 4.
Where literally just a few months ago it was 3%.
Sure.
I know because I got mine at 3%.
Congratulations.
And you didn't do it.
You dick?
Man. I'm sorry, man. I'm a dick. But knowing that rates are going to hit 5%, do you guys feel that that's going to be a stifler in our market? Are people going to say, "Oh, I'm not paying 5%"?
Nope.
When I bought my first house, my interest rate was 16%.
It's not going anywhere, man.
Well, I think we're going to stay stable, even if it's at 6%. We're still a good deal at 6%.
Well,
Correct. It's going to stabilize around 7. That's my opinion.
Okay.
That's where we're going to stabilize around, and we're going at that
Is
point.
sacrificing a round of appetizers at Buffalo Wild Wings per month going to make
Right.
that break?
That's a great
Right?
way.
Is that
that's-
going to make or break you owning a home?
Well, that's a great way to put it in today's society. But now let's kill one more thing.
Sure.
Michigan has a terrible, terrible tax rate for property taxes. We're terrible. You know that.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So now that we have the new tax rate in place, we're only allowed $10,000 of a deduction. How is that going to hurt?
Nobody's
Nobody
thinking
really
about that. when
Nobody
they're
thinks
buying
about
a
that.
How
when-
come I
when they
think
put a
about
house.
that?
Because
'Cause
you're in
the
it.
business,
Dude.
You're in the business.
I'm a millennial. I just had 2 kids. I want to buy a house. I'm not thinking about tax rates, bro. I'm thinking about a nursery. in the
If
back.
anything, you're thinking about the bonus of, hey, I can write $10,000 off. You're not thinking, oh, I used to be able to write whatever off, and I'm
Right.
getting less now.
It's not
Nobody
changing.
thinks about
No,
that. You're
what's
like,
it-
I like the house, I like the front door, I like
Well,
the
you
bedrooms.
used to be able to write off
All of it.
$1 million. Yeah,
Right.
all of your property taxes and $1 million in a
Mortgages.
mortgage loan. So me personally, I'm not seeing the higher priced homes paying. I'm not seeing the higher priced homes selling as quickly.
that
as
market is for sure. It's different.
That's a totally different market.
Different market.
I don't see lakefront where it used to be,
Correct.
which I sell a lot of lakefront, and we don't see lakefront properties selling at those high values yet.
Totally
but
different.
we see the basic human need, the basic necessity home, the 3-bedroom brick ranch with the 2-car garage and the white picket fence and the dog and the kids and the whole shot. That basic home is gonna be out of touch short. Well,
It's already getting out of touch, man.
I mean, $170 for a 900
No,
square
no.
foot house.
Affordability for the homes, it is, and I'm going to use Vancouver and Toronto. There's
Oh
these-
my God, it's ridiculous.
Right? They went through this already.
Yeah.
They went through all of this, right? And they had outside investors coming in, so they've already gone through this, and it didn't stop, man. I mean, $1 million. It was like a bungalow was $1 million in Toronto of like 1,200 square feet.
Right.
So we're not at the peak yet. I don't think, in my opinion, I think we're going to go through the.
You got to have infrastructure. You've got to have jobs. All this stuff has to
Right.
be in place.
Yes.
Well, the community has to support, or the
What is
local
Royal
economy.
Oak? So what is Royal Oak supporting? Restaurants. Think about all the business out there. There's no manufacturing. There's no building things.
I don't.
Well,
agree
we're
with
building
that.
houses, but I mean, manufacturing is a key to everything.
Well, I would say most
manufacturing's
people that work in Royal Oak either work downtown, right? Mm-hmm. Most people that live in Royal Oak, I should say, either probably work downtown, they don't work in Royal Oak, right?
Unless
a lot
they work
of them.
from home.
No,
or
but I
something.
get what you're saying. Look, to your point, if jobs and our economy is doing well, we're going up.
Which
right?
is true. Amazon they just hired 800, or they're hiring 850
man.
people. I mean, 800. When you think money spends 25 times, okay,
I don't know what that means.
I'm going to explain it to you because you're going to get blown away.
Okay.
Let's use this as a. We used to go on a. We used to go on a. I'm sorry. I got to touch you. I'm Italian. I can't get away from it. What happens is we used to go on these fishing trips every year to Costa Rica. Okay, and we'd have 150 guys. Okay, shut up. Don't even look like that. I don't know what that looks.
There's only one thing you do in Costa Rica, and it's
okay.
not fish.
Yes, it was. Trust me. Okay, so the point is
What do you fish for in Costa
we,
Rica?
we would all go. Let's say each one of us brought $2,000. Okay, so you got let's say 100 people.
Yeah.
You got 100 people times $2,000. That's $200,000. 200,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like
That's what I
it's a
thought.
drug deal.
No, it's $20,000.
It's close.
No, it's $200,000. Okay, I'm sorry. So you take the $200,000 and they spend it on the hotel. The hotel spends it on employees. Employees spend it on
Trickle down.
It's all trickle down, but at the end of the day, it's each dollar spends 25 times before it's valueless. So you could take that $200,000, multiply it times 25, dude. That's a lot of money. Somebody do the math real quick. Why am I?
As far as the economic effect you're talking
The
about.
economic effect could
Yeah.
bring in millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Was it $5 million?
No, it's more than that.
It's too early to do math. I don't
Dude,
know.
what are we talking? Wait. What are we talking? What's the point of this?
Yeah, where did this come from?
I don't know. At AT&T, I don't know. No, we're talking about the economic impact of jobs
Yeah,
that are letting
yeah.
it spend towards houses.
Correct.
And
So that's my point. My point is, we have a good economy. That's strong right now. I mean, and things are getting better and better. They're not. It's not slowing down. And that's why you're seeing rates go up. That's why you're seeing the Fed raise rates. Unemployment's down. Jobs are up. Right.
so the Fed's trying to control it a little bit by slowing it down because it's growing too fast.
Correct. It's going to overheat.
Yeah.
Right. That's the whole point. The Fed doesn't want it to overheat. That's what they're worried about right now. Rates have been so low for so long. They're trying to raise rates because if it starts overheating, you get to a dangerous level. It's got like a weird balance that they're trying to maintain. It's not controllable in my opinion.
Since February, rates have gone up a full point. Has the demand slowed at all on the buy side?
No, dude. No. It's
Well,
not slowing down.
I think we noticed it in our company. Maybe we're not there, but I do believe that we had a slowdown towards the end of December and through January and March. You guys had an incredible January.
We were busy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But the majority of your business is also refi.
No.
You told me your
Well,
majority.
not our own
At the
personal
time, it was
business,
like
but
it was
ultimately it's,
urgent. Get the refi done before rates are.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
That's the
Last
sense of
minute
urgency, refinancing before this is all said and done. So when I look at it in a different way, the new home purchase market, which was a typical market, would always start in the spring. People got their tax refunds back. They had enough money.
It started early this year.
I would say it started a little bit earlier this year.
I don't think it ever ended. Because there's
Listen,
such a
when the REO market was around, December was our busiest month. Why? Because the banks had
That's
to
what
get
they
had to
get
them
off their books.
off the books.
Off the books.
Now it's a little bit different story. Now people are getting ready. We already know that the number
there's
one
a
day to list
hopper
and
of
sell.
buyers, right?
Plenty of buyers.
So it's like it doesn't
Not-
really matter for that. If that buyer finds that right home in December or June, I don't think it matters if it's snowing, raining, sun shining.
There's just too many
It's just-
buyers.
I think
right
it's
now.
the nightclub effect.
What? Well,
Do I need to go into this?
Costa Rica?
Okay. No, stop it.
Jessica's like, what are you talking
Jessica's
about?
look at that. Here's the nightclub effect. You've got a nightclub that holds 250 people. You got 500 people outside. Who's paying off the bouncer to let them in to get the preferred seating in there to get their job, to get a place where
paying to
everybody
play.
wants to be. It's the same thing like the values in Royal Oak. Literally 5 years ago in Royal Oak, we were selling houses for $50,000 and $60,000. Those same houses are now $200,000.
$100,000.
I bought a 80-year-old bungalow, 1,400 square foot for almost $300,000.
But you bought yours. It was turnkey. It was
not-
finished.
oh, don't get
it
me
was
wrong,
ready
it's
to
a
move
nice
in, right?
house.
That's what
Yeah.
everyone's looking for.
Man.
So like
Now
my
you're-
thought.
That's exactly what you just. I told you, $99
Everyone, yeah.
down, $99 a month. Did you put 20 or 30% down?
No.
No. You bought it for the payment that you could afford
No.
it, and the anticipation that as you live there, the price of the home will go up. People don't realize it. Investment homes are different than your regular home. Your regular home that you would buy to live in, you have to have a place to live. So you're going to spend money on taxes, maintenance, insurance. When a rental home, when you buy it, you need it to go up in value. But guess who's paying for it? The tenant, not you.
Right.
So that's a whole different ballgame. You have to live somewhere, so it's going to cost you something to live in a house. Where do you want to live? How do you want to live? Your lifestyle of living is going to be the biggest question.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I was
Brad.
gonna say, how do you think the shortage of inventory gets solved? Because in my opinion, like you look out in Royal Oak right now, there's not any really empty lots for new construction, right? So we can't build more inventory.
You just got to buy.
Well,
and
it's
tear
a
it down.
problem because
Are we
people
going to
want-
start seeing more looser guidelines and renovation loans, cheaper money on that to do? Like, how
you have
does
to
it get
look at the
solved? Like, people are just
segment
going to
of
settle
buyers.
for less than what they want.
the biggest segment of people buying right now are millennials, right? And probably
But
people
they
downsizing.
don't want to buy. Millennials don't want to.
Right, they want walkability. They want to be in the area. They don't want to build up in
Right.
You know, some undeveloped.
So before, to your point, someone would go out to the sticks, tear down a whole thing,
100%.
Old farm, build a whole bunch of houses.
Unless
That's not
someone builds,
happening.
like,
So that's
a
what I'm
cool
saying.
city.
How does it get solved? Because it's not like people are going to go tear down a whole block in Royal Oak
it's
to
not
build
getting
new
solved,
stuff.
man. That's my whole point, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm telling everybody.
I think the
never gonna
renovation
end.
loan makes sense because once again,
you still have an inventory problem.
yeah, absolutely, because people don't want to pay big money for a house that they have to renovate and do all this work to. They want it done.
Right. That's why flippers are going to become bigger and bigger.
I think they are
right?
going to be bigger.
Flipping
and bigger.
is going to be a bigger deal. People flipping houses are going to be making more and more money. I do not see inventory going up because the demand is too high. Again, all things equal. If the economy starts faltering, the sputtering, that changes things. People start freaking out. They start selling their house. I will tell you this: a buddy of mine owns 3 or 4 investment properties. I told him sell them. I said sell them. You're not going to get more for your money than this year, maybe the beginning of next year.
That's probably.
I'm like, sell them, take the equity.
We know we're cyclical. We go up in 7 and
Yes.
7 years up, 7 years down.
Yes.
What I tell you, the foreclosure market really started in 2000, 2001, when everybody was laughing and saying, "Why are you getting into foreclosures?" I said, "That's the where it's heading." And we peaked in 2009, 2010. Then Obama came in and said, "We can't kick people out of their houses," and then he kept them in longer, reduced the amount of foreclosures, or what he called shadow inventory. Knowing there was shadow inventory out there, all that did was drive the prices right back up.
Well, I think if you were to sell what you have, right, in a market that's already appreciated, and probably invest that into an up and coming market, that's probably the play, right?
That's my only issue. I want to sell my house and do the same thing, but where am I going to put the money at? Because I'm not going to go back invest high. It's always
You gotta
buy
rent.
low, sell high.
Right. Sell and rent.
I already got another house.
or you
And we didn't do that mortgage either.
or you sacrifice your quality of living, right? Which isn't what you do, to your point, when you buy in a primary, right?
Dude, we're hustlers. We
Yeah.
hustle our asses off every day.
Who does?
You, us,
Oh,
me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We
Doesn't
work-
look like it, but we do.
Well, which is
Especially
true. Yeah,
you.
look.
Yeah.
Those shoes down there.
I'm talking about my gut.
At the end of the day, we bust our asses every day.
Yeah, we do.
We don't have a guaranteed paycheck.
No.
We do what we have to do, and we have a certain lifestyle that we want to live. I mean, we can't go over a certain limit, but we've got to be careful. There's no guarantee what we do, so we're always out there hustling, and we want to live good at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
you can't live too high, but you don't want to sacrifice that. and-
What do you
and
think?
live
What do you
too
think
low.
the
Right.
effect of legalized marijuana is going to have on our economy? I don't know, man. I mean,
I think it's gonna be a huge difference in the economy. I mean, look at Colorado, how much tax revenue they've brought in.
look, my
just
buddy
to that
lives in
state,
Colorado, and he owns dispensaries, and I love him to death. I didn't even know he owns 5 of them. Flora, God bless you, Scott Rybicki. But listen, and that economy is booming. I'm talking like so. I know it's a weird thing to talk about, but
It's really not.
it's gonna get legalized.
Marijuana is the penicillin of the 21st century.
Word.
Yeah.
So,
I feel so.
so here's the deal. It's going to really have an effect, and it's going to give us even more. It's going to be legal, by the way. It's going to pass.
100%.
Sure it will.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's passing, right? Does anyone disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree with it. I don't think, personally, it's going to make or break, or you're going to see a big change.
Then again, do you want to
You're
live
going to have
next
a
door
whole bunch of marijuana millionaires, bro.
Do you want to
Oh,
live
for
next
sure.
to a dispensary?
What?
I wouldn't
Do you
mind
want to
it.
live next to a dispensary? You're a grow.
Me personally? Yeah. People come over. I'll get
Yeah, right. You have
down.
your kids live next
What are
door.
you talking about?
The place gets robbed.
It's
you got
not-
So
not
it's
crack
like
cocaine,
it's like
bro.
anything,
It's like-
right? It's only a big deal if you make it a big deal. So I wouldn't mind living next to a dispensary with my kids. I just don't make it a big deal. It's just a normal thing. When you make it
Well,
a big
'cause
deal
you're
and
a
make a big
hippie,
deal, yeah, I'm a
dude.
huge hippie.
well, we were in Vegas for the Remax convention, and we went to a dispensary just to see what it was about,
Yeah,
not to partake in anything. And one of the things that we saw was armed guards everywhere. I mean, these guys were not in camo, in the desert fatigue, the gray or the beige.
Really?
Yeah, they had machine guns, and they were walking around.
Where
And
was this?
This is in Las Vegas. There's this place called the Reef. I mean, the place must have been 100,000. The Reef, yeah. This place must have been 100,000
the
square
coast.
feet, and you're saying, "Holy smokes! They grow weed in that building. It's a
Holy
warehouse.
smokes would
It's
be the right
literally a
thing to
warehouse."
say.
And the cabs
many
are pulling
puns.
up, and these Bob Marley guys are getting out. What's up, man? And the line is long as hell, and these guys, and it's peaceful, it's calm, there's no problems.
everybody's cool, man.
Like you said, it's just business. And I think the way you were saying it was I don't mind it if you don't pay attention to it, and
Right.
if you don't give it the credibility.
It is crazy. I was in Reno. I went to Tahoe skiing. Blew my knee out, bad bounce.
Yeah,
but
you should not be skiing, first of all.
I
Not athletic.
pulled up at a it was like some type of store next to it. I don't know. It was like a convenience store next to a dispensary, and I watched the traffic in and out of this dispensary. It was crazy. I mean, there was literally
Everybody smokes pot, dude.
10 people every 30 seconds.
Was it out of the
In
dispensary
and out.
into the convenience store? It's just like a beaten
I think they
path
sold
between the
snacks
two?
there. I don't know. Either way, it was wild. And I do believe, I mean, it will have some type of effect on the economy.
Some?
But I don't think it's, I mean, okay, so let's say it makes 10,000 more millionaires. I think there's probably 1 million millionaires in the United States.
It's not that. It's
There's
the
probably
I-
more than
so
that.
I think it has a lot of potential to have a huge impact on the economy. I don't think it will live up to that potential because I think when they pass it, they could use that extra revenue for so many things, right? Everyone bitches about the roads. We can fix the roads with it. Everyone bitches about
roads are
registration
shit.
fees, gas taxes, right?
Let's
all
not
these
go
extra
there.
taxes
School,
that we have.
lotteries funds the schools, and we're still
Right,
subpar.
yeah. Tax your shit
Right.
out of pot
I'm
and get
not-
rid of
I'm
all,
not-
this, all
I'm
the
not
extra
ta-
tax and
dude,
stuff, but they're not
dude,
going to do that.
I'm not talking about if you want to really depend on the state to like give us no.
Yeah,
I'm
it's not-
talking
they're not gonna
about
do it.
actual commerce, right? I'm talking
yeah.
about that's the part I'm talking
well, and
about.
you have to look at this too, right? Of what of the revenue that it brings is profit to the manufacturer, and what is
grower.
taxed to the
Government.
the government, right?
But
Which-
what's
I
going
don't
to
think it really
what's gonna go
matters.
into
The grower's
community?
going to make so much money.
Everybody's
they
gonna
tax
make
at
money.
50%.
Guys,
I mean, they'll bitch about it, but at the
There's
end of the
a
day,
lot
they're going
of
to be
money
okay.
in it. We're talking $1 million
It's
a
an
day.
emerging. It's an emerging market, just like the internet was an emerging market.
Cryptocurrency.
I mean, yeah, let's not
Can
go
we buy
over
into
there.
it?
I told you
Trade on
last
the stock market?
podcast. Don't buy that crap.
I didn't lose any money.
I know you didn't. You didn't make any
yeah.
either.
All right. So yeah, no, I just think like so for me, I know it's a topic, it's a weird topic to talk about, but it's gonna
I don't
happen.
think it is.
Yeah, you're right. So like it's gonna happen. We're gonna have this infusion of capital in our economy, and I just think it's gonna add to the overall shortage of houses. I think we're going to be making more and more money. Is my point. My point is our economy is going to continue to get better because there's different ways of creating wealth right now.
So who's going to stop it?
Nobody. It's not changing. The only thing that's going to stop it is the economy.
Well,
if the economy crashes, that's what stops it.
How's the economy going to crash?
The White
There's
House.
a million different ways.
No,
Dude. We're one bomb away.
Rates
we're
go up.
one bomb away from something.
Okay, we're one
We got a
bomb
nut
away.
job.
That's pretty crazy because you say that. But in the era I grew up, every time we had a war, we had great economic stability as soon as the war was done.
right.
But that's not what happened last time we had a war, dude. We got.
was a never-ending
Remember
war.
9/11? Shit
That
kind of
wasn't a war, though.
I mean, what was it?
It was
That
never
was
a
a terror attack. That was totally
That's what
different.
I mean by that. When I say one bomb away, terrorist
Right.
attack, right? We don't know who we're fighting anymore. That's different.
Yeah, correct.
Right,
Yeah,
war
yeah.
has stimulated the economy because there are people working. They create right. The
Yeah.
machine
Well,
starts moving.
Listen, I think the bigger problem of it all, right, isn't the economy. It's not war. It's not like some new emerging. It's the fact that the population now is X times the amount it was in the 50s and the 40s when most of these homes were built in these neighborhoods where people want to be.
Yeah, where do we peak?
Right. Well, where do we go? Right. I mean, people have to either move out of state and go to another emerging market, like, for example, where there's a lot of land, Colorado, lots of new construction going up in between Denver and the other cities, right?
Or the UP?
The UP.
The UP.
it's a new hot market.
Other
is,
areas.
No,
I
don't
mean,
go
you
up
have to
there.
think
Don't be cutting down any
Southeast
trees.
Michigan, for the most part, is already established. I mean, all the homes are built. There's not a lot of land available.
Well, you could
to
get
build.
out of Macomb County and Oakland County and move a little bit higher north, even Genesee or
Yeah,
or
but
St.
dude, I live
Clair.
in
Right, but as a young-
Novi's not cheap
as a young
either,
kid who
like,
wants
no,
to be around, right, where everything's going on.
Millennials don't want to.
You either are going to pay. I mean, you're either going to bite the bullet and pay a ton, or you're going to move away and go to
Or
where
build
the other
up.
cool place is. And depending where that place is, it's going to be tough. That's why I feel like a lot of people move out to Oregon and things like that.
It's
where-
Oregon.
Oregon, whatever, dude. It's
Oregon
but
Trail.
at the end of the
Origami.
day, you have to think like.
No, Sal has you have a good point. I mean,
Well, I think
your
it's
point is valid.
I think it's the point that there are way more people than
There's
there
a lot
are
of humans,
houses.
right? And millennials are creating more humans, right? There's humans creating other humans.
Yeah,
It's just
they're probably
that's
not
how it works.
having
yeah.
6 or 7 like our parents had, right? I mean,
No, it's like 2 Or
Right.
three?
It's actually 2, like 2.1.
Right.
In order to sustain the human race, you need to have like 2.3 people per family.
Really?
Yeah. In order to
If you have 3 kids, you're an idiot.
but
I'm
if you
sorry.
have 2, you're.
I got 2, and it's hard.
I got 5. Okay.
You're gonna have a third.
Man.
What?
You got 5 kids.
You have 5 kids?
Gee, yeah.
Wow.
Well,
That makes sense, though.
That's why he's hustling.
And you have to think above and beyond that too. I mean, the rate of divorce, right? So you have all these plugged in families where you've got 2 kids from one marriage, 2 kids from another, 1 new kid.
So you're saying that
Big
family
families.
structure is a big driving
Where you
force.
put a 5
Well, it's the
person
same.
family.
You're right, because those
Right.
people are not the ones that are living in downtown urban areas. Those people are the ones that need a bigger home. I just had somebody yesterday need a 5-bedroom home. 5-bedroom home? Who needs a 5-bedroom home? Not a lot of people. So the demand for those big family homes is not there.
And
It
what's
used to
funny
be.
is if you look at the homes, like I said, that our parents grew up in, or my parents grew up in, right? They had 6, 7 sisters, brothers that they
in a
grew up.
1,200 square foot bungalow.
Yeah, in Detroit.
Right.
Yes.
And it's like, man, how did you even live? Well, we shared, me and her
Everything.
shared a room.
Everything
Me and
shared,
her shared a
yes,
room.
yes.
We
One
shared a
bathroom.
bungalow. It's
Right,
crazy.
So at what point do you think, and this is just another thought that came to my head, but like what that white picket fence, single family home, American dream, what point does that change and we start looking like you go to South Korea, right, or Japan, everything's up or down, right? They have a city under a city. There's houses
that's what
going
they used to
down,
do
there's
in
houses
Italy.
going up, condos. When do you think that
Well, it's
the American
when-
dream changes?
Well, it depends on
almost
where
to
you're
that?
at. Like New York's like that.
Right.
Right.
Well, I believe it.
But to Sal's point, there's no place to go. There's no. There's
Well,
no,
you build
there's,
up.
There's
I mean,
no other place.
Even look
for
at the
people to move
skyline
to.
in Royal Oak. They're building new lofts.
Listen,
Right.
when we used to be in Europe, like say I could use Italy because I'm Italian. The grandfather lived on the main floor. Then when
you
they
build
when
up with the
you
kids.
build up,
Yeah,
you
we-
keep
my-
building
right.
up. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, you're at 4 or 5 stories tall.
That's
And
how
then
my
all they
family
do
did
is
it, yeah.
move downward as the older people go downward and the younger people move upward.
They're compounds.
Yeah, well, basically,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it in that type of fashion, but it looks that way.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
compounds.
Well, I
No,
think
but that's
you-
what
Even
sounds
Even in New
horrible.
York, you got duplexes in New York, and you've got the parents
Families
living
living, yeah.
downstairs, the kids living upstairs,
Right.
until they can afford their
You
own
have
place. And they-
duplexes. You have townhomes with 3-4 units.
I think we could end up pricing ourselves into a problem like California. I mean, my ex-partner had a house next door to his that was a 900 square foot asbestos-sided ranch with no basement and no garage. It was 3 bedrooms. Okay, that was $600,000.
What?
Yes,
California?
Hey, but
In
the
California,
weather's-
yes,
yeah,
yes.
I was like, where?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say. No, my buddy works at the Bay Area. He's a loan officer. I mean,
The Bay Area is worse than all of them.
It's crazy. There's
Well,
like 3 houses for sale.
And
Like, it's crazy.
If you look at it, right, with all the money in California and everything going on, there is a ton of free land available too. Now, is it developable land?
Where?
Like California?
Yeah, but that's what they did to Stockton. They developed all
Right.
this land in Stockton,
And
and,
then it
guess
ends
what
up-
happened?
Right.
Destroyed everything.
yeah, it fell apart.
Yeah. It
Stockton's-
fell
it
apart, yeah,
it
yeah.
fell apart.
So
You can't afford. The whole idea is you can't afford these huge prices, and basically it's going to take the people that are.
affordability is going to get screwed up.
Right, because you've got multimillionaires over there, and they have the highest. They have
Here's
the
what's
highest
gonna happen.
poverty rate of the whole country.
Here's what's going to happen.
Right.
As affordability. Do you want to have something? You have
Oh, I was
something?
just going to say, you don't want to build a neighborhood around the people who can't afford, right? I mean, you do, I suppose. It's a noble effort, but like you said, that's what happens to an area where, well, no one that lives here could afford to live in L.A., right?
Right,
So
correct.
Right.
now we all live in Stockton, which, ends
But
up
it's too far away, and then the commute
Right.
doesn't make sense. Then they're out of work.
businesses
because,
don't want to go there,
right,
blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
Do you want me to tell you what's going to happen?
Yeah, go ahead.
I
I
see
like
the-
it.
I
You're
see-
pretty good at
I
this.
see
And
the
you're young.
future,
You're
yeah.
so young. You get it.
I'm relatively.
He knows
young.
everything.
Yeah, I'm always right. Just so you know.
Once you were wrong
When?
because you thought you were wrong, but you were right.
Right. You're right about that. So here's what's going to happen. Affordability is going to get crushed, right? It's going to
Yes.
get worse and worse and worse. People can't afford. Here's what's going to happen. And it's going to be a problem, and I don't condone this, but this is the reality of what's going to happen. Lenders are going to come out with different products to make affordability happen again. ARM loans, interest onlys are going to come back. You're going to start seeing, because they got to keep the machine moving, right?
And then
Looser
history
guidelines.
repeats
And
itself.
then we fall right back into the poop.
Right. Zero doc this way, this way.
Dude, and that freaks me out more than anything else on the planet. I don't care about interest rates going up. I don't care about this. I want to hold our industry safe, like what on a good solid foundation. The moment we start getting interest onlys and all these no income, if that starts happening again, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak out over it because that should not happen, but it's going to.
That's right. You're going to write a lot of loans.
I'll write a lot of.
He'll make a shitload of money and then he'll freak out.
Yeah, you better save the money because then you'll use it to buy those homes for half the price.
Guys, but it's the reality. What's going to all of a sudden
Right.
it's going to be like a 1 year arm you're going to get into.
Well, history tends to repeat itself.
It's going to because
Yeah.
you can't sustain the affordability unless you do, right?
Right. Well, and it's tougher. They do a teaser rate, right? Up front, hey, your payment's $200 cheaper. Can you afford that? It's just a tough problem.
I'll
and
fucking
I think
lose it.
It comes all the way down
said
to
I won't.
just the population, I think. Worldwide. It's nuts. I mean, just look at a graph. What do we do?
What?
I don't even know what he's
Builders can't keep up with building the homes
No,
fast
you can't
enough.
find the trades.
You
can't find the trades to keep up.
And
the builders could keep up.
everyone
We
in the
can't
past 30 years who has been born has been taught that, you don't want to work with your hands, man. You want to sit
This
at a
is
computer
true.
all
This-
day,
this is
right?
true.
So
Yeah,
now all
this
of a
is true.
sudden we have a whole bunch of unskilled people
But that's
who want a
shifting, too.
turnkey house, who either have to build new or buy a flipped one, right?
Right.
What do you do?
Right.
Well, hey, if you want to buy a new house, you can pay $600,000 in Royal Oak, or you can move out to Westland and buy a $300,000 house. What do you want to do? Well, I don't want to live there. Tough shit.
What's wrong with Westland?
Well, that's basically what happened.
Not just saying, right? An obscure area where.
Yeah, I know.
So
Sorry to everybody in Westland.
don't mean to like that. Come
Sorry to
on,
everybody in
guys.
Westland.
Come on.
All right, guys. I mean, that's our show. Tony, why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, man?
I don't know. How do they get a hold of me?
What do you mean?
What's your cell phone
No,
number?
not like that. Jesus.
Here, I live over here.
I'm holding you right now.
Yeah, no, you can call my office, 586-773-4400. Just ask for me.
Yeah,
They'll find me.
Mr. Raffin.
That's it.
All right.
You are just north of the nautical mile, correct?
We are just north of the Nautical Mile. We have a lot of cool places around there.
Nautical mile is heaven sent.
The restaurants have been
Yeah.
phenomenal around
I don't
there.
even know what the
especially-
nautical mile is.
Golden chopsticks.
Golden Chop, we just ate there yesterday. They got some of the best soup
So
there is,
good,
man.
dude.
Then we got
So
this cool
good.
little brewery
Sounds
called
always about the
Baffin
food.
Brewery.
Loves food,
Yeah, Baffin.
Just
I
north
hear a
of
lot
10
about
Mile.
Baffin.
All
This
right.
place is jammed all
All right,
the
you
time.
two
so-
bears. Enough about the food.
It's good stuff, man. People want to know where to go. This podcast is brought to you by Golden Chopsticks. And when you're done, go down and have a beer at Baffin Brewing Company.
Brad Weisgerber, thank you for being on today.
Thank
got
you,
it.
Brad.
Yeah.
Tony, thank you very much.
Thanks for
you're
inviting me.
You're our best
Appreciate it.
guest of all time.
Oh,
It's our first show.
let's do it again.
Salvatore, thank you. Jessica, we gave her headaches with the volume. We're just yelling into the mics all the whole time.
You guys are fine.
Thank you, Jessica.
All right,
All
that's
right.
it. We're out. Have a great day, guys.
That was